Okay.
Depends how. It's something you could talk about for an hour. I mean, I've made quite a few notes, and
And me.
it's a big. No, you're not. It's a big topic, and I've got some brilliant quotes. If I do say so myself, we could just do the quotes and not bother with the rest of the whole thing. They're so good.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. My name's Warren Shute. I'm here joined by
Paul Cleworth.
Hey, Paul. Good to see you. And today, this is season 3, episode 1. We're back from the summer, fresh,
We're back.
enthusiastic.
Yes.
Can't wait to get into it. And today, we're talking about: are we financial advisors or are we coaches? Rethinking the role of the modern day financial planner. So, Paul, before we dive into that, tell me about your gorgeous summer. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been on holiday. Went to Japan for a couple of weeks with the kids. That was fun. We did the tour, Tokyo and konnichiwa. Didn't learn too much Japanese, quite frankly, but did get to use the Shinkansen, the trains. Got a week's train pass or 2-week train pass. Brilliant. In hindsight, we wouldn't have gone in July. I wouldn't recommend anyone goes because it's really, really hot. It was 38 degrees, and with the humidity, it's like mid 40s. It was really, really hot. We had those neck fans on. And you have umbrellas, and you have
Hang on, stop. Listeners, just picture this. Paul had a neck fan on. Did you have like a Hello Kitty T-shirt and a little hat to shelter from?
Oh yeah, and you pose like this. Yeah, lots of peace signs. Yeah. So been to Japan. Done more and more karting with my son. Went to Bookmore, which is Medway Valley. We've been to Raura in the Lake District. I've been doing a bit of thinking. A little bit. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I know, thinking about the future. I've been getting fit, or trying to. Been up to see family quite a bit. Taking on a second advisor at work. That's exciting. And pretty much got the stables building finished in the back. 98%.
You've been busy.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
So we went away. We went to France, which was lovely. It was really nice. We had a chateau just outside of a place called Duras. It was a little bit far out for my liking because we had to drive into the town. You know, it's like holiday. You want to wander into town, have wine and food. And So, but the place was amazing, huge place. And we went up with the kids, and Bella brought a friend. It was lovely. That was really nice. But we had our 30th anniversary. So Nikki and I, my wife, had been together 30 years. So we celebrated that in style, which was nice. Went out for meals. And
you don't look old enough.
I know. I caught her very young. She was very young when we met. She was 18. And so I don't think
30 years,
I don't think I'd have stood a chance if I waited much longer, to be fair. That's why I had to nip it in straight away. And I got to be honest, my life has been consumed by moving. So our house is now sold. We found a house that we want to buy. Offer's been accepted. And we're now going through that journey of moving. First time in 20 years. And I now know why I do it every 20 years. So hopefully this one will be 30 years or more before I move. So,
it's stressful moving. You've got to just sort of not think it, just do it.
Do you know what? That's interesting you said that. That's the advice that a friend of mine gave me. He said, look, just roll with it. When something comes up, don't get stressed, just respond to it, and it's going to happen.
You're a problem solver. You can do it, especially if you've got movers in, which I'm sure you have. You're not going to move it all yourself, are you?
No, that
manage.
No, yeah, it's grade 2 in surveys and this, that, and the other titles, and it's just anyway. Hey,
it's exciting though.
It'll be amazing when we're in there, and we're hoping to be.
When's the big house party? In October, November.
Exchange is supposed to be October, complete in November, so we'll be in for Christmas, which will be nice. That's the plan.
Very good.
The plan.
Yeah. So, that'd be nice.
Everything crossed. So
very good.
That's what I've been up to. Should we go on to the main focal point today?
Yeah, let's do it.
Are we advisors or are we coaches? Rethinking the modern role of a financial planner.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Paul?
Well, so I started off thinking about what financial planning is and what I do and what other advisors and planners do that's a bit different. I'm going to start with a definition, right? This is a US definition of what financial planning is. And they say the CFP board, or the CISI board in the US, says it's a collaborative process that helps maximize a client's potential for meeting life goals through financial advice that integrates relevant elements of the client's personal and financial circumstances. And the FPA, which it's American, I'll get to the FCA, it's a process of developing strategies to help people manage their financial affairs to meet life goals. Right. Now, the bottom line is and the FCA. Oh, here we go. It doesn't. The FCA strictly doesn't define financial planning. It regulates advice and investment business. So, according to the FCA, effectively, financial planning and coaching doesn't exist. This means the profession itself has room to shape what financial planning is. What I think it is, I think I do a bit of both. I think I'm both an advisor and a coach.
Yeah.
And I think the key for the modern financial planner is to know what to do when, is to merge the two. Do you agree?
Yeah, completely. I tell you, controversially, I was getting out really early. If you're a financial planner starting out in your career, financial advice and financial planning is excellent. It's a fantastic profession and it has massive value. You don't need to turn yourself into a lifestyle coach. If you want to be a coach, go and be a coach. Ditch the regulated side of things. Life will be a lot easier. I think a lot of people become too fluffy, cuddly. Our clients want financial planning advice. They don't need to be hugged. There you go.
I was speaking to Rob Stevenson the other day of Kingmakers about developing Tandem, my business, and where it's going to go next. And I thought, he was telling me, I said to him, all right, what I think is next for us is to develop Esther, our existing, second advisor, take on in due course another power planner and another advisor. And he said there's loads of advisors out there that are very technical. And the industry over the last 10, 20 years, a lot of people have just gone down the more qualifications, more technical route. And I asked myself, what value that is that we provide in the meetings. And actually, I definitely spend more of my time in meetings now with existing clients coaching than I do advising. So yes, I consider myself a financial planner, and I talk to people about their lives and their circumstances and create strategies and bring it in line with their values and all of that. But it's this, I think we should define specifically what a financial advisor or financial planner does primarily, and then explain what a coach does, because it's going to help our listeners really think about what they do in a meeting and how much of their time they spend advising clients and maybe giving them answers, and how much of the time they spend coaching and asking questions.
So at Lexington, we would define financial planning as helping clients live life by design and not default.
Yes, that's your catchphrase, isn't it? Basically,
it's true. It's our ethos of, we have a phrase that we sort of say to our clients, died at 40, buried at 80. And it's so true. So many clients can just get on this hamster wheel, just going round and round the rat race, and just get caught up in life and never really looking
Life's
up.
Treadmill.
Yeah, definitely. So helping your clients live intentionally, but that doesn't mean you have to go down therapy route. I think sometimes when I see some of these people, I think some financial planners out there differentiate themselves because they try to become too touchy-feely, and then they wonder why their businesses aren't taking off. Their businesses aren't successful.
The modern financial planner, I think, will ask the right questions and get the client to come up with a lot of those solutions. So that's the coaching element. And yet they'll still be conscious of the fact that there are products to put in place to do that. You can't shy away from the fact that the client needs to max out ISAs and pensions and put money in. And you get remunerated that way. You're identifying shortfalls. All of these things are tools to plug the gap to help the client achieve all of those goals you've just discussed. So the merging of the two. Before I move on, let's talk about the definition of what a financial advisor and a financial planner does. And I can read some of these out and you want to comment if you want, but then I'm going to tell you what a coach does and see if you agree.
Okay.
All right. So a financial advisor or a financial planner, the primary role is to give regulated financial advice. And the core activities is going to be technical expertise, talking about pensions, investments, tax planning, cash flow, protection, estate planning. And the framework is going to be solutions driven. It's going to be backed by financial products, compliance, FCA regulation.
No.
And the focus is, this is what I think it is. Focus is clarity, security, and achieving defined financial objectives. Now, let's talk about that. What's your definition of what a financial planner is and does, or a financial advisor?
It's simply, like I said, it's helping clients live life by design, not default. It doesn't have anything to do with regulation. In my mind, it has nothing to do with regulation. Sometimes I will talk to a client and I'll say, what is in place at the moment is absolutely fine. You're enjoying the work you do. You've got a defined benefit pension scheme. You've got enough money in the cash. Actually, what you need to do is put that buy-to-let into a trust.
You're using, though, your definition of financial planner, which I get, and that's what I asked you. But the traditional definition of most financial planners is to do with cash flow and projections and graphs and technical expertise and giving the client the advice. But the coaching element that you absolutely specialize in, I know that, And this is why you're, merging the two. It's why you're so successful. But a coach doesn't necessarily just provide the answers. They ask the questions, don't they? Yeah. Their role is to draw out insights from the client to help them reflect, set goals, change their behavior. And the focus is on the person's mindset, their beliefs, their motivations. And you've got to empathize, you've got to encourage, you've got to make the client accountable. A famous coaching phrase here, the answers are in the client. The coach helps them discover them.
Yeah, it's interesting because someone defined for me once a coach, a mentor, and there was a third category, which I forget. And sometimes it is coaching, but other times you just need to tell the client. Sometimes you just need to say to the client, you're being an idiot. You're doing the wrong thing here. You need to be considering this. Look at these implications of your decisions.
But you're doing it, though, genuinely. You're not doing it to judge them, are you? You're not doing it to make them feel bad.
No.
And I agree that there's a lot of advisors out there, for sure, that will be order takers, and they'll tiptoe around the edges and just try to get through a meeting and sort of do what the client wants, instead of having the strength to sort of say, actually, I don't agree with that. You're having a discussion with them. You're not trying to judge them. You say, I understand what you're saying, but my advice is this, and pushing the client and saying, do you know what? You're not on track, or you really need to do this. I know that you've said you don't want protection, but I'm not going to change my advice. My advice is still, it's very, very important that you consider life insurance, critical illness, if it's appropriate.
I can give you a really good example. We took a client on probably about 8 years ago or so from another financial advisor, and he wanted to buy a whole bunch of buy-to-lets as well. He sold his company, very successful guy, very smart. And I said, look, you don't want to buy the buy-to-lets, and these are the reasons why. I laid it out. And he listened. He's okay, great. I take on board. And he said the other day, really pleased to buy those buy-to-lets, because the two I did buy, losing me money. Warren, I want to buy this place out in Spain on a golf course. It's beautiful. And I looked at it. It was amazing. And I'm like, well, how long can you spend out there? 3 months. It's 600,000. It's a lot of money. I said, look, you don't want to be doing this. This is crazy. Just go and rent somewhere. Go and rent somewhere for a year if you want. And I went through, Anyway, I said, look, just think over it. He reflected, thought about it, come back. Hey, look, do you know what, Warren? I listened to your advice. I still want to buy it.
But you know that it's very specific for the clients. You've got to try and rein in sometimes. If it's a client that can't afford it, you have to be honest with them and say, look, I don't think this is a good idea. If they've never bought property before and they come into a lot of money and they say, do you know what, I want to buy this property for 600,000 overseas. It's very difficult if they're not experienced, they're not used to this. If you think they've got plenty of money and they've been talking about it for ages, and you have helped them understand the pros and cons of it, you've helped them make a conscious, decent decision. There's no point then just saying to them, well, I think buy-to-lets are terrible or holiday homes are terrible, just don't do it. If the clients, as you mentioned, are going to stay there, spend time there, they're aware of all the pitfalls, all the tax issues, all of that, and it's in their and they really want to do it, then of course you'll then help them buy it. You can't always just say, no. It's not for you to make all those decisions for the client, definitively.
I completely agree with that. And we are helping him buy it because that's what we're doing. He's instructed us. We're facilitating that. But I also think that people buy with emotion and justify logically. And that makes sense. And he's really emotionally attached to this. And I can relate.
Especially when it comes to property.
I can relate to this with the property purchase that we're going through. Very emotional process. And I think this is a massive value for a financial planner. I sent a voicemail to my friend today. I said, I really understand the value that a financial planner adds. I know intellectually and knowledge-wise what's going on. But I'm emotionally attached. Like in my mind, we're in this property and I've got to get it sorted out. So having a third party who trusts and respect helping you make decisions, it's fantastic.
But that's fascinating you saying that, because in there's a document that we have on our website, and this was it was developed through a document through Humans Under Management, through one of Andy Hart's businesses, and it was talking about what a financial plan actually does. And the thing that you're talking about there is being a sounding board, being an independent witness, being someone who can be a secondary, an impartial advisor.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is you have to empathize with the client. And the more experienced you are as an advisor and the more clients you've advised over the years, you can have these emotional discussions with clients and help them understand what the real value is without telling them what the value is, because you're discussing, you're getting to the heart of it, and you really are on a higher level talking through the pros and cons of some big decisions. You're helping them make really smart decisions with their money. And I think all of that comes through experience and through empathizing and just being there. You've got to have done it yourself half the time.
I was just about to say the same thing. It comes from experience, and I think, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, I think I'm a good financial planner, not because I'm clever, because I've done it for 30 years. No, seriously. And that's it. And it's just time in the seat. I think Tom told me years ago,
But you've practiced what you preach.
Yes.
You've got to also, if you've never bought a buy-to-let ever in your life, and then you're telling clients all about how they work, it's not quite the same as, and if you've never moved house,
100%. As a financial planner listening to this, you need to make sure what I refer to as your house of wealth is in order. You've got to make sure your wills, your power of attorneys, your life insurance, you're funding your pension.
Yes.
You've got to have a financial plan. You've got to walk your talk so that you then talk congruently with your clients.
I knew you were going to get the congruent word in there. That's tremendous. Ring the bell. Fantastic.
Ding, ding, ding.
We just need to talk about outcomes now, and we're laughing. We're getting there. Do you know an example that I'm going to throw in here about how you can explain something to a client? If you've got your technical advisor hat on, you might say to them, here's the best way to structure your pension drawdown tax efficiently. You're going to explain to them. Whereas the coaching hat, you might say, well, what does retirement actually look like for you? How will you spend your time? What's important to you beyond money? And you're talking about, you could call it life planning. You could call it coaching. You could call it whatever you want. But you're talking about things other than just the tax side of it, the technical side of it.
Yeah.
And those parts of it, in all honesty, I think are much more what the client would value. Because they almost expect you to know the answer. They expect you to give them the technical expertise and explain it in a way they can understand. But you absolutely need to make sure you can touch into the client's feelings.
I know because I've spoken to advisors that work there that there are financial planning firms out there that do like 6 or so meetings with their client before they really get down to giving them advice. And it's all the touchy-feely stuff. And I think sometimes if you want to be a coach, go and become a coach. Why take all the regulation? We're financial planners linked to lifestyle. A lot of people say I'm a lifestyle financial planner. Well, that's fair enough. But we say we're financial planning linked to lifestyle. We are first and foremost a financial planning firm. We're going to give you financial planning advice, and we link it to your lifestyle to help you live life design, not default. So we've got this thing that we roll off. So I think that's really important. I think helping clients clarify and understand what their future vision looks like. Test them against it. So don't just accept it. Test it. You sure? What everything you want, you give something up for. I want to build a company and take it public. Okay, well, you give up personal time. You don't spend as much time with your kids, vice versa. So just challenge them on that. That's their values. It's a values-based decision, and then help them put a plan, a roadmap, a financial roadmap in place to achieve that.
The client that you've been with for a long time and would probably value that confidence, that confidant relationship with you, the ability to call you up, know that you're available, book you in for a meeting, have a chat with you, where you can give them impartial advice without judgment, and you can very sensibly say to them, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? They can have that discussion with you, because a lot of people like to make the decisions themselves. The ones that don't want an advisor, that they're either too headstrong, they think they can do it themselves, they Google the answers, fine. If they don't want an advisor, fine. But those that want an advisor and that pay, 1% on £1 million, if they're paying you £10,000 a year, you think, where's the actual value? The value isn't in look at my amazing investment strategy and the returns that I'm getting you and all these other things that we can't control. It's in the relationship, the integrity, the guidance, the am I on track? And as you said there, the sort of the coaching element to it, the relationship that you have with the client, it's that I think that they value.
I tell you one thing that I think they value is stopping them doing silly things. There is you're going to tell me what the bias is. I've forgotten what the bias is, but there's a bias where it says, I'm a successful business person. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I sell pizzas. I now think I can go and set up a company that sells milkshakes. I'm going to do that. I now think I can go and set up a company that sells shoes. I'm going to do that. Well, you might be able to, but you are really good at selling pizzas. I'm not sure what you know about milkshakes. I don't know what you know about
it's shoes. Sort of an overconfidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's,
and it's almost like, okay, hey, look, what I say to a lot of my most successful clients is I'm taking risk off the table. You can make money. What I'm trying to do is protect that. So you just carry on making money, living your life by default, in just making sure you don't make silly mistakes.
I'm going to put in the show notes the 1-page PDF from our website that our listeners can download, because it explains in 1 page all the things that a modern financial planner can do. Okay. And I think it's a really good document to show your clients. Obviously, don't just use mine because it says Tandem on it. You develop your own, but it's one where
can I cross Tandem out and just put Lexington?
Yeah, just cross it out, just Lexington. Just copy, paste, print, whatever. But yeah, it's the idea is to explain to your clients if they don't know already, or remind them the services that you offer and what you can actually do. I had a meeting yesterday, Warren, where two meetings yesterday, one in completely different times. One was with an existing client of 15 years,
Wow.
53, met him in St. Albans for coffee, and didn't really use my laptop at all other than to show him, just to check the total valuation. We were talking about it, and to ask him a couple of questions to do as a mini presentation. But we were in a public place, and we just talked for 2 hours about what he was doing with his life, what gave him purpose now that he'd effectively retired, or he was not working at 53, which is very impressive, and what gave him this sense of identity, and what he would say to people if they asked him what he did. So the whole meeting was really interesting because without really saying it, he basically told me, thanks very much for helping me achieve financial independence and transition from working to not working. And it was lovely. It was a lovely meeting.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Later on in the day, I had a longer, more technical meeting with a client. And it was 3 hours instead of 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. It was way too long. But quite honestly, we covered a lot. And I realized that I'm still developing the way that I present to clients, because I was focusing way too much in this meeting on the technical report that I was presenting rather than, the softer facts, talking to the client, asking them loads of great questions. I just changed my tack completely. It's as if I was burnt out in the morning. And then I'd asked all the great questions and all my listening had gone. I thought I'll go into presentation mode and just read from the report. And it just went on and on and on.
I can relate to that. So my meeting yesterday, employed couple, no children, 51, 52 years old, completely financially independent. Okay. They've only been employed, invested wisely, spent less than they've earned, done incredibly well. They both have a very high environmental consciousness. So they both work for sort of green companies. And the downside for him is they tend to be sort of startups. He runs like operations and things. And he's in a company that's kind of going in the direction. He's got private equity investors that is not quite where he wants. It wasn't what he set out to be, but it gives him purpose. And he wants to be part of the effect of what it's going to do, the green revolution, as it were. And that was a real conundrum because financially, they both don't have to work. They can replace their income, go off. They've got a place in Canada. They can travel around, do the things they want to do because the wise decisions they took following our advice.
Yeah.
But he wasn't quite ready to give up just yet. Although he said, I cover the stress very well. I'm like a swan. He wasn't quite ready to give up yet. And I think just letting your clients know that you can, this is your cash flow, this is your income stopping, this is your spending. I think he could spend an extra £50,000 a year between now and 75 and still not run out of money. He was their sound.
You find that the longer you've been an advisor, the older your clients tend to be because you work with the same clients for longer. So you might start off in your late 20s or 30s. And then after been doing it as long as you and I, 25 years, your average clients in the mid 50s. And then the more and more discussions you're having is about transitioning from working to not working. And once you're going to do two core things, I think. One is you're going to explain to them that they've got enough money and reassure them that they're not going to run out. Once you've finally got that through their head, and you've agreed the goals of how much their expenses and lifestyle costs are and that it's all going to be fine. The next stage is that transition, isn't it? That transition from working to not working, to say it's okay to decumulate, to spend your money, to start drawing it out, to not have a salary coming in. And also, there's a massive discussion, which often for a lot of clients takes 2 years plus to get into, is the new mindset of what is life going to look like after I've stopped work? I've been there 25, 30 years. I've got this set of friends. This is my social scene. This is my level of prestige and power. This is my identity. And then the next minute, it's like, what do I tell people? If they ask me, what do I do? Am I the person who used to do that? Or do I tell them, have I got another focus now? Yeah. And it was interesting. The client I saw in the coffee shop, he tells people he's a potter because he just loves pottery amongst other things. But he's getting into that. That's his new thing. So when he says, he might say, I used to work in the city. I used to do this, but it's all a bit boring. It's much better to say, you know what, and feel good about it. This is what I do. Yeah. It's much better than saying I do nothing. You don't want to say, the answer can't be I'm retired and I just go on holiday. That's not a good answer.
No.
And you got to find a new motivation, haven't you? A new mission, a new something to do.
I really think, and you do the same, that when you go from successful people generally are fairly busy and they're very much in demand. And when you go from being in demand and successful in that respect to doing nothing, it's too much of a shake-up in your body. You really need to have a vision of the future bigger than your past. To look.
Oh, there's another ring the bell moment. Tremendous. Yes, they're just on the tip of your tongue. I love it though. It's a good one.
But it's true. It's like, I think you need to have something to look forward to get you up early, to work hard, keep you up late.
Yeah.
Be excited.
Yeah. And remove the stress. Lots of discussions I've been having with clients recently. The kids have left the nest, because they're in the late 50s or 60s, and their children are in their mid to late 20s or 30s. The parents have still got a big house. And they're now thinking, okay, I want to spend time doing something else, whether that's, photography, pottery, yoga, whatever they're doing. And yet they've got this massive house and all these problems to deal with, as in there's maintenance to do, the garden needs cutting. It's just not the same. Do you want to spend all your time doing those things for a big property? Or do you want to have a complicated arrangement? When you're at work and you've got pensions all over the place, you've got ISAs, investments, crypto, you've got all these different assets. When you have to change a lot of that, to the point where you want to reduce all the stress, reduce all the hassle, get to the point where you don't need to think about money. You don't have to worry about it. Someone else, the planner, can deal with all of that. All you need to focus on is how are you going to live the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do that's fun, interesting? Are you going to be nice? Are you going to practice gratitude and mindfulness? Are you going to be a good husband, a good friend, a good father, a member of society, someone who gives back? Are you going to be that person, or do you just want to work for the rest of your life? And some people cannot change over from working to not working or doing something else. They just find it's the strain too much. They can't believe in that new lifestyle, even if they've got enough money.
Yeah, and I can kind of relate to that in a way, because I was talking the other day, Christian, who works for my office, posted happy birthday Warren Buffett. He was 95. And I replied to the post, what a great year or age to retire. Because I look at my own lifestyle, and I've sort of said to Nikki, if you would travel the world for a year at a time, then I might retire. I might sit down and go retire. But she said, what? I don't want to be out of the UK for a year. I'll go out for 3 months, maybe 6 months if you push me once in a while, but 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, I can keep working and enjoying what I do and do that. So why would I give up work? When I look around at my friends who are selling and stuff, I just think, am I missing something? I don't think I am.
Yeah. Do you know another great example is who's the chap who just turned 100 just recently? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. He's does all the BBC documentaries about wildlife. David Attenborough, of course, on the tip of my tongue. But the point is, he's still working, and he's 100. And you just think, so I wasn't saying earlier on that one needs to give up work or stop working. I think that it's just changing the parameters, changing what you do to the point where you can still be busy. You can still work a bit if you want to. You could write a book.
Yeah.
You could be a non-executive director. You could run your own business. You could do something else that's perhaps not as stressful. I think people forget that if you're earning the big bucks doing a certain job, or you've got a career, it's not a bad thing to if you've got enough money to change and do something else. You just don't need to do it 40, 50 hours a week, because the opportunity cost is time. And you just think, what else could I be doing with that time?
Yeah.
Am I going to spend more time with my partner, my wife, my husband? Am I going to spend more time with my kids? Do I not like my kids? What am I going to do with that time?
Yeah.
And there's only so many holidays you can have.
Yes,
isn't there?
Yeah, completely.
Before you just think, what am I doing here? This hedonistic lifestyle has got to come to an end. I can't drink wine and eat steak for the rest of my life, without being a bit poorly.
Oh, really? I can't.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
That's a shame.
In moderation. Everything in moderation.
It's
Did I tell you I've got some great quotes for this this episode?
So
I've got lots of them. They're so good. I'm gonna.
Okay, we will go on to it. Let me just wrap. Okay, so should we sort of summarize
That's what you're best at.
Role of the. No idea. Just summarize the role of a modern financial planner. So I think it's not giving up or moving away from the technical ability, the financial advice side of things. I think that's important. That you could, like you had that meeting, you deliver the technical side to make sure that client was fulfilled, but it's also probing and helping clients to live their best life. I didn't want to use my words. I wanted to use as almost like neutral words, but
I try to not probe my clients.
Please don't call the police.
Instead, we'll cut that out. Advisors give answers, right? So there's too many clients these days, unfortunately, that are Googling the answers, chat GPT, and thinking that they know all the answers. I think that the modern advisor, the experienced advisor, if they know categorically how something works, whether it's drawdown or a certain type of bond in trust, they know it so well that they can explain it to clients in a way that the client will understand. Your clients then come back, oh, but I should buy an annuity because I should do this and I should do this. And you're like, are you telling me or are you asking me? So I think you're clarifying answers. You're also giving specific advice, and you're giving technical, clarity to the client. If you're an advisor, the coach is going to ask the questions of the client. They're going to get the answers out of the client. It's all relevant to the product, the solution you're going to recommend in the first place. And you're going to ask rhetorical questions. You're going to get the client thinking, and you're going to start listening to the client.
I think
because that's what they want.
That's a really important thing. So, again, if you're building up your career, asking a question and then, excuse the language, shut the fuck up and just listen to the client. Allow the client time to process the question and answer it. Yeah. Sometimes people ask a question and then because they haven't answered it, ask another one. Some people take time if they've never been asked that question. One of my questions I ask in my discovery meeting is, what's important to you about money? You have to shut up and let them think, because no one has probably asked them that question before. They have to think. Yeah. So
it's that difficult pause that you have to get past and just let it lie, sit in silence. I think a lot of advisors, and I'm pot calling kettle black here. They like the sound of their own voice, and so they just. I'm totally guilty of that, and I berate myself in meetings and just use absolute humility and just apologize and say sorry. I'll shut up now and let you talk. Yeah, and just you've got to do that, or else you're not even giving them a chance to process. But I'm sure most of my clients need a gin and tonic after a meeting with me. Quite frankly, they definitely need. That's why we keep alcohol in the kitchen.
Hey, we now keep alcohol in our fridge after we're putting out wine after one of our previous podcasts. So we now have that, which is nice. We haven't
nice little bottles of champagne. Don't open a big bottle unless you've got like 5 clients coming in. You'll just end up drink. Your staff will drink it. Those little bottles that cost a fortune, little bottles of Veuve Clicquot or something. They're great.
So
they look good as well.
Modern Financial Planner definitely gives advice. Don't shy away from the advice, but also helps and coaches the clients to live their life by design and not default. I think
very good. And they're going to combine. We're going to combine the two. A modern financial planner combines. They know when to be an advisor. They know when to be a coach. It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
And maybe the best financial planners are those who know when to switch hats.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Like that a lot. Hey, Paul.
Ready for my awesome quotes?
I'm sure you got some great Q&A for us this week. What is it?
So quotes and anecdotes. I've got loads of quotes. We'll have to come back to anecdotes. Right. So this one's by Stephen R. Covey. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. So as you just said, shut up and listen to your client.
That's good.
This one's adapted from Voltaire. Right, so I'm not sure he actually said this, but the good advisor is not the one with all the answers, but the one who helps their client find the right questions.
Ooh.
Oof, that's deep, isn't it?
I got one.
Go on then. Back and forth. Go.
Okay, this one. When you ask, listen or lesson. So when someone's going through something tough time, you say, look, do you want me to just listen or do you want to lesson?
Okay.
You didn't like that, did you?
I'm sure you just, not as much as mine, no. But I get the point of it, yeah. I'm sure you just made that up in the back of a fag packet. This is an industry wisdom, ready? A good coach will make you see beyond the game. A good advisor will make you see beyond the money. In the end, both are helping you discover who you want to become. Do you do that with your clients? You help them? Because they've got various personalities. There's usually a specific one, but some people can change their mind. They can change their age of achieving and their goal and their financial independence and how much they want. You could help them get to that point. You know what I mean? And be the person they want to become. What about this one? Coaching, this is Sir John Whitmore. Coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. Advising is offering solutions to problems. Both have their place. The art is knowing when to do which. Oh, yeah, I love this one. This one's got a bit of rhyming.
Have you got
it's anonymous.
More? You've got loads.
Yeah, I got 3 more because they're so good. I told you they're so good. I'm going to get through them as well. You probably wrote this one. It says anonymous, but in brackets, I think it says Warren Shute next to it. This is it. Advisors provide direction. Coaches create reflection. Boom. What do you like? Do you like that one?
No, not really.
I don't like that. Okay. Next one.
Last one. Come on.
All right. Okay, I like this one. We'll finish with this one. When you give advice, you take some responsibility for the outcome. When you coach, you give responsibility back to the client.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
I like that.
I think I like coaching, actually. My PI cover will reduce massively if I just stick to coaching. Yeah. Because I know that I was talking to Rob Stevenson, as I said, and he said some firms deregulate themselves and just do the coaching aspect. And they do all that part of the financial planning and then just give it to an advisor that's regulated. Say, you do all the advice part of it and do the products bit. And they'll just do the cool coaching. And then they go bust. Okay, on that bombshell. Right, let's wrap up.
Thanks for tuning in to the Finance Geeks podcast. That's all we have for today. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, but please like and subscribe to the show and give us your comments. Bye for me.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the Finance Geeks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. Drop your comments and questions on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on social media. Join us next time for more insights to boost your financial planning game.